When our generation thinks of their life, a couple of things come to mind. Computers, game systems, music, television, and lights. And yet all these things would not be possible if it was not for one man and his thoughts. But sadly to say, most of these teens that use these items do not even know the name of the man that made it possible for them to enjoy these luxuries. That one man was none other than the Austrian inventor Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla was born on July 10th in 1856 in Samalhan, Austria, later known as Yugoslavia. He was born into a Christian family where his father Maltan Tesla and his mother Duka raised Nikolai and their other children in a strict Christian belief. This is due to his father being a reverend in a local church and his mother being the daughter of a priest. Later his family moved to Gospic in 1862. Tesla went to school in Karlovac where he studied advanced arithmetic. Tesla's lifelong dream was to be the first man to harness the raw power of Niagara Falls and the Americans. In the early parts of his life, while talking with a friend in the Budapest City Park, a sudden idea for an AC motor hit Tesla. When he tried to promote this idea in Europe, he was cast aside for a lunatic, for such ideas were thought to be deranged during the times.
I don't know why Nikola Tesla had this persona of being a crazy guy. His inventions were far-reaching and far-fetched. Leonardo da Vinci drew pictures of flying machines and cars and steam engines and things that hadn't even been invented yet, and when Nikola Tesla come around and started saying, let's do submarines and power without wires and alternating current and other crazy things that were new and leading edge, you know, he was just out there on the leading edge with a lot of his ideas, and that gets you branded crazy right there.
So Tesla accepted an offer to work for Thomas Edison, and Tesla's dreams began to unfold. Tesla decided to go to America and see if his ideas would be accepted in a new world. When Tesla arrived, he began to work on Edison's line of dynamos, in which he thought he could improve. When Tesla brought up the idea that dynamos could be manufactured more efficiently with his thoughts of an alternating current, Tesla's theory stated that he could use this alternate current and apply electrical power over great distances without problems, something that the DC Empire had been having trouble with.
The original power source, or the original power transmission system that was developed by Edison, was DC. And DC worked fine for short distances. Kind of the Achilles heel of DC is the fact that it's very difficult to convert a low voltage DC to a high voltage DC. Even today, there is no easy way to do that. There's no easy way to convert it up, and there's no easy way to convert it down. And to ever make a power transmission system economic, you have to have the ability to generate voltage or generate current at a reasonable voltage, transform that current up to a very high voltage so that you can transmit it over long distances, and then transform it back down.
When Edison realized that Tesla was correct, he instated major conflicts between the two. Edison was not wanting his DC empire to fall. He began to wage war to show that AC current was a danger to all people. Edison would take AC current and feed it into prisons, where he adapted it so it could be used as a means of executing prisoners. The War of the Currents was finally ended when Tesla and George Westinghouse teamed up and took Tesla's dream into reality. This, of course, was the Niagara Falls hydropower facility. This is Tesla's biggest contribution to the modern world. But throughout his life, disputes with Edison was not the only ones. In fact, Tesla had a huge disarray with the inventor Marconi. This battle was over the idea of the radio. Marconi stated that he was the one that came up with the idea and the prototype for the original radio. However, Tesla had a trump card to these accusations, or so he thought. Tesla's patents showed that he had the original thoughts for the radio. However, Marconi's designs were able to be manufactured and used in the real world, while Tesla's ideas were too abstract to be used. Tesla's last great adventure was his very own Tesla coil. A Tesla coil is a device that can change low frequencies to high frequencies. This was the predecessor of our modern-day transformers. The only thing that this was a triumph over was for our modern-day society. During Tesla's own time, the coil itself was not greatly used, for the simple fact that it was made unreasonably high currents with no control. Tesla is no longer introduced to children in our history for one reason. This reason is found near the end of his life. This is towards the end when Tesla began to lose money and friends very rapidly. He began to go mentally unstable, and this led to his demise. He was shunned from all of his colleagues and shut out of modern-day society. This is where many believe Tesla's life to be the biggest tragedy, just because he had made so many contributions to our society. Tesla's very existence was both a triumph and tragedy for many reasons. His life was a triumph just because of his thoughts and achievements. Without these great thoughts and elements of our modern-day society, the world that we know would not have gotten out of the 19th century. And if not, we would not be as far advanced as we are today. Tesla gave the world a light in which to see. The world has yet to and probably never will be able to repay this monumental debt. But on the opposite side of the spectrum, he was the father of a society that has fallen to a new low in which it will never be able to recover from. Without Tesla, the electronics that you are using in this very moment would not exist. The workforce of society would be much greater in the ways of physical aspect, but in the technology, we would still be using very primitive means to accomplish tasks. So Tesla was one of the world's greatest triumphant minds and yet one of the world's greatest tragedies. His life was the greatest tragedy for that the world that he tried to help improve, and for all of his work, his repayment was that he was shunned and outcast by the exact same society. But because our society has banished him, not many know how much he truly influenced our world, and without him, the life that we know it would not exist.